Part 1. The Song of Summer. The sun poured golden light over the meadow, and the air shimmered with warmth. Bees buzzed lazily between blossoms. Dragonflies traced silver lines over the pond, and the tall grass swayed like waves. It was the heart of summer, bright, busy, and full of life. On one of those blades of grass perched a green grasshopper, his wings sparkling in the sunlight. He strummed them like a violin, filling the air with his carefree song. His melody rose and fell with the wind, joyful, wild, and full of freedom. "Ah, what a beautiful life," the grasshopper sang. "Every day is a gift, and every moment is music." Not far beneath him, the world was very different. Deep underground, the colony of ants marched in tireless order. Dozens carried food, others dug tunnels, and the elder ant, their wise leader, directed the work with calm authority. "Faster, everyone," he said. "The summer won't last forever. We must store food before the cold arrives." The grasshopper laughed, peering down from his perch. "Work, work, work. That's all you ants ever do. You should try singing for once. It's good for the heart." A honeybee hovered nearby, watching. "Aren't you worried about winter?" asked the bee. "Winter?" The grasshopper chuckled. "Why think about winter when the sun is shining?" The bee buzzed away, shaking her head. High up in an old oak, an owl opened one golden eye and whispered to the wind. "Only when the snow falls will you learn that music cannot fill an empty stomach." Part 2. When the leaves turn gold. Time passed. The meadow began to change. The warm winds turned cool, and the leaves along the forest edge started to fade from green to gold. The hum of summer slowly quieted. The ants worked harder than ever. Long lines of them carried seeds, crumbs, and bits of dry leaves back to the nest. Inside, the storerooms filled up. They knew the signs: the first chill in the air, the gray mornings, the whisper of winter around the corner. The grasshopper, however, noticed none of it. He still sang to the fading sun, performing for the butterflies and the last few bees that hadn't flown south. He leapt from stalk to stalk, chasing the light as the days grew shorter. One afternoon, he spotted the elder ant pulling a crumb twice his size. "Hey there, old friend," the grasshopper called. "Why not rest and enjoy this beautiful sunset? You work too hard." "Every sunset reminds me," said the elder ant, "that time is running out. We must finish before the frost." "Frost, frost," the grasshopper laughed. "You sound like a doomsayer. There's still warmth in the air and music in the wind." The ant smiled sadly. "And soon there will be silence. Remember my words." A gust of wind blew through the field. The grasshopper felt a shiver for the first time that year. He rubbed his legs together and forced a smile. "Just a chilly breeze," he said. "Nothing to worry about." Part 3. The Storm. A few days later, the sky turned dark. Heavy clouds rolled in, swallowing the sun. The wind howled through the meadow, bending the tall grass until it almost touched the ground. Then the rain came, sheets of it, pounding the earth. The grasshopper scrambled for shelter, but the drops were heavy. The wind fierce. His leafy stage became a river. His music drowned in thunder. He hid beneath a rock, shivering, watching lightning flash across the sky. Beneath the ground, the ant colony held strong. The ants sealed their tunnels, guarded their food, and waited out the storm in safety. When the storm finally passed, the meadow was ruined. Flowers were gone, stalks broken, seeds washed away. The grasshopper crawled out, soaked and hungry. He looked around. The meadow no longer sang with color and life. He found a dried twig and sat silently. "Maybe," he murmured, "I should have saved something, just in case." But pride kept him from admitting more. "No, it's fine," he told himself. "The sun will return, and the meadow will bloom again." Yet the sun that rose the next morning was pale and weak, and the wind bit colder than before. Part 4. Winter arrives. Winter came without mercy. The meadow froze under a blanket of snow. Trees stood bare, and the river turned to ice. The world fell silent, no chirping, no buzzing, only the sigh of the wind through empty grass. The grasshopper had never known such cold. He hid under a hollow log, his legs stiff, his wings brittle. Hunger gnawed at his belly. He tried to sing, but his voice cracked and faded into the icy air. Desperate, He searched for food. Nothing. Every blade of grass was gone. Every leaf turned to dust beneath the snow. He knocked on the door of the squirrel. "Please," he begged, "I just need a few nuts." "I'm sorry," said the squirrel. "I barely have enough for my own family." He went to the rabbit. Then the mouse. All shook their heads with regret. By nightfall, the grasshopper could hardly stand. He stumbled through the snow until he saw a faint glow under the ground, the ant's nest. Warm light flickered from the tiny entrance. With his last bit of strength, he knocked. Inside, the ants froze. "It's the grasshopper," one whispered. "The one who laughed at us all summer," said another. "Let him freeze," muttered a third. Then the elder ant spoke. "No, we cannot call ourselves wise if we let another creature die in the cold. Open the door." The door opened. The grasshopper collapsed inside, tears freezing on his cheeks. Part 5. Firelight beneath the ground. The warmth of the ant colony wrapped around the grasshopper like a blanket. The ants fed him crumbs of grain and drops of honey. Slowly, he regained his strength. At first, he kept to himself, ashamed, but soon, he began to help where he could, carrying light loads, tidying the tunnels, singing soft tunes in the evenings. At night, when the ants rested after a long day of work, the grasshopper played his gentle melodies. The notes echoed through the tunnels, warm and soothing. For the first time, his music had purpose. It gave comfort. One little ant asked, "Why didn't you sing like this before, when it was warm and bright?" The grasshopper smiled sadly. "Because back then, I only sang for myself. Now I sing for all of you." The winter dragged on, but inside the nest, the ants and the grasshopper endured together. When spring finally melted the snow, sunlight poured into the tunnels. The grasshopper stepped out, thinner but wiser. The elder ant approached him and handed him a single grain of wheat. "Take this," he said. "Let it remind you that music grows best in the soil of hard work." The grasshopper bowed his head. "I will never forget what you taught me." Part 6. A new song. Spring returned, and the meadow awoke once more. Buds bloomed, rivers flowed, and the air buzzed with life again. The grasshopper, now strong and healthy, began to work alongside the other creatures, planting seeds, carrying leaves, helping where he could. When the work was done, he took out his wings and played his music again. But his song had changed. It was no longer the careless tune of summer, but a melody full of warmth, gratitude, and wisdom. The ants paused in their work to listen. The elder ant smiled. "You sing better than ever," he said. "Because now," replied the grasshopper, "I sing not just with wings, but with heart." The owl, perched above, nodded approvingly. The forest needs both, the song and the work. One feeds the spirit, the other feeds the body. Together, they make life whole. And so, each summer after that, the grasshopper sang while he worked. His music blended with the steady rhythm of the ants' marching feet, a perfect harmony of joy and diligence. When young insects asked him about the hard winter long ago, he would smile gently and say, "I used to think summer would last forever. But I've learned that true happiness isn't in endless sunshine. It's in being ready when the cold comes." The meadow shimmered under the afternoon sun. The ants worked, the grasshopper sang, and the forest breathed in perfect balance. And so the lesson of that long, cold winter lived on. That freedom and responsibility, art and effort, must dance together to make life beautiful. Moral of the story. Joy and music make life rich, but discipline and work make it secure. The wise heart learns to balance both. Work feeds the body, art feeds the soul. Together, they create harmony.